at number 10, we have police that are being shot at. This dashcam footage of a police chase following a robbery just north of Myrtle Beach in South Carolina gets pretty crazy when we see the guy that they were chasing catch up with the police. Now the police are trying to lay a tire buster to stop him in his tracks. The trap actually works and the car goes haywire in front of them. After that, shots are fired at the officer, who luckily was not injured. Coming in at number 9, we have a motorcycle pursuit, and they're always dramatic. This one's from 2013, and I have to say there's drama and then there's drama. We see a bike zip along a highway in Duarte, and his bike is pretty sweet too. It's all orange, black and red, and he's all hell-bent on evading the law. Speeding on a bike is so dangerous because if you fall off, you can be seriously hurt. The footage is from a breaking news bulletin, and we see the driver starting to get pretty erratic. He punches cars as he goes by, injuring himself. He then goes off the freeway into a construction zone. Unfortunately for him, he then falls down. An officer catches up with him and kicks him. Coming in at number 8, we have a police officer tying a speedster's tie. What? This is not what I thought was gonna happen here. We have dashcam footage of a guy being pulled over for speeding, but the whole situation culminates in a police officer tying up his tie for him. Bizarre. Basically, a University of Wisconsin Stout student was rushing to give a presentation and was flustered because A, he was speeding, and B, he didn't know how to tie his tie properly. The worst day. The whole video is all about the officer helping him out, tying his tie, and then he ends up giving him a warning. What a nice guy though. Do you guys want to see how police in Belarus do it? Of course you do. Coming in at number 7, we have a tow truck chase. Police in Belarus chased this drunk man as he drove erratically in a multi-layered tow truck. Talk about dangerous. Not only could he have spilled his load, dropping cars left, right and center, but he could have seriously injured a lot of people in the process. The truck drives fast, swerving across the road as police chase it. What is also really great about this is that you get a point of view camera inside the police car as it chases the truck. Eventually, the tire is shot and he is apprehended. Coming in at number 6, hello there donkey. Sure, this is police car chases, but in the days before people drove cars, they, I guess, drove donkeys. So I mean really, this is like a vintage car chase. Basically, this wily donkey got free in Arkansas in the US and hoofed it up the road. It was all caught on an officer's dash camera, and I have to say, like, it's sad but also funny at the very same time. The lady that did the on-foot chasing is such a hero, and luckily the donkey was later returned to its owner. Coming in at number 5, we have a cola van crash. I feel like almost everyone who gets involved in a high-speed police chase is driving on borrowed time before they crash. This red truck driver ended up smashing into a Coca-Cola van after a speedy chase down a highway. After the smash, which we can watch again in slow-mo, the driver gets out of the car and tries to get away on foot. He then infiltrates someone's back garden but is followed by a police helicopter. He then thinks no one can see him as he hides under a trampoline, but he's very, very wrong. Armed officers do catch up with him and find him. Coming in at number 4, we have a stolen police car chase. Whoa, a police car chasing a police car. I mean, it's very confusing. A carjacker tried to make off with a police car in New Jersey. At first, it's hard to see which car is the perpetrator as they're all flashing lights, but in the end, you can clearly see the stolen car hustling with the other police cars that try to blockade it. In the end, the rogue police car is run off the road and the perpetrator tries to escape. They're caught though. They're always caught. Coming in at number 3, we have a 15-year-old teenager in a car chase. This one is crazy, and the driver was a 15-year-old girl. So this footage from 2015 is from when a teenager led Los Angeles police on a crazy car chase through Compton and South LA. At one point, she erratically drives through a park in her bashed up silver Nissan, but she's followed by a police chopper. She then meanders across many roads, sometimes driving the wrong way, until she crashes into a pavement. When she does, she's met by like 15 police cars and 50 armed cops. In the end, she's forced out of the car at gunpoint. I mean, I have to say she's kind of lucky that she's a white female, because I'm thinking this could have gone so many different ways. Coming in at number 2, we have the insane O.J. Simpson Bronco chase. Does it get more dramatic than a celebrity car chase? Here we have the infamous O.J. Simpson on the run footage from 1994. O.J. Simpson released 3 goodbye letters after his ex-wife was murdered. He then tried to escape with former teammate Al Cowlings. After 12 hours on the run, California Highway Patrol found the car and trailed it. They kept a clear distance as O.J. was holding a gun to his own head and talking to the police on his cell phone. The highway was cleared and the van was followed by hundreds of police cars. Eventually he does surrender, but not before hours of talks with police on the phone. I mean, this is so intense. I have no idea how he wasn't sent to jail for that alone. Okay, I've saved the best one for number 1. The pure brutality, the horror, the chaos, the things that must have been going down here. It's horrible. Guys, I am trolling you. This is the cutest police chase you'll ever see. It's a dashing high-speed police chase. Yes, dogs on the run. So I thought we needed some light relief after some of this heavy stuff. This is a cute little skit uploaded by Crusoe the Celebrity Dachshund, and I love it. Crusoe the dog plays a police officer who apprehends his brother Oakley, who steals a van of bark boxes. Crusoe has his own tiny police car that he trots down the road in, and it is probably the best thing I've ever seen. He even has sunglasses, a coffee and a donut like any good police officer does. In the end, there's a tussle over a bark box, but the police officer comes out victorious. I love it, you need to watch it. This video was uploaded in October 2015 and has had 1.8 million views, and I'm gonna need to watch it at least 1.8 million times because I love it.
Starting things off at number 10, we have Tank Attack. Now when I say tank, I'm not referring to a really big car that smashes into smaller cars. I mean this one involves an actual tank. In 1995, a mentally unstable ex-soldier stole a tank from a military base and went on a rampage across San Diego. The chase was obviously quite slow, but far more destructive than any ordinary police chase because this thing weighed about 57 tons. It smashed road signs, fire hydrants, and crushed many cars. At one point, the guy even tried to destroy an entire bridge. Like you do. But tanks aren't meant for tiny little roads, and when the man tried to get onto the nearby freeway, he got stuck. That's when police saw their chance. They opened the hatch and told him to stand down, but then shot him when he started trying to free the tank. Police later justified this killing by the fact that there were 30 cars with civilians nearby that could have been killed if the tank had gotten free. Pretty intense start to this video. In at the number 9 spot now, we have the Drunken Rampage. In 2003, a heavily intoxicated man in Montana shot 7 civilians and 1 officer and kept the law breaking going by leading police on a crazy chase. The roads are pretty windy there and the suspect flies around the bends at 80 miles an hour. Luckily, the police officers are able to keep up. But the suspect knows this too, and instead of trying to go faster, he does the complete opposite. Oh, wow. That car is not going anywhere in a hurry, and you might think that he'd give up at this point, obviously, but they never do. In the end, he uses the confusion to escape and drive away until eventually his tyres get spiked by officers further down the road and the car spins out of control. This time the officer doesn't give him another chance and they end it once and for all. Moving on to number 8, we are going to switch things up with a bike chase. And I don't mean bicycles, I mean motorbikes, obviously. Bicycle chase with police would be hilarious. But in 2013, one biker in the LA area was on the run from police on the highway, and he wasn't just passing cars at high speed, he was punching them too.
Guy, as he's swinging, there he goes, punching the cars. That's what he's doing. He's punching the vehicles.
Now I don't know why. I don't know why at all. The newscasters didn't know why, but it looked like he broke his hand in the process. For the next 10 minutes, he spends his time whizzing past cars and clutching his hand in pain. As the traffic builds up on the highway around him, the suspect decides to go off-road into a construction area, and at this point he knows the game is up. Next up at number 7, we have the limo. Yeah, in 2007 a man stole a stretch limousine car and took police for a little ride. Now if any of you guys have ever seen a limo in real life, you'll know that they don't look like they are really high speed chase material, which is why this one is actually so crazy. When police first spotted the limo on the freeway in New York State, the driver was doing 120 miles an hour.
Tearing up the highway in a 20-foot limousine.
But at least the freeway is a pretty straight road, perfect for a limo, right? Well, apparently not, because the driver then tried to lose the police by coming off into a small town, and then he does this. Officers said that if anyone was coming around that corner, they would have definitely been killed. Now back on the freeway, he reaches 150 miles an hour in a limo, which then ends up breaking the transmission box, which controls his gears. But one gear does still work: reverse. Even the police officers there said they were amazed at this guy's driving skills, managing to outpace the police in a limousine in reverse. But he was eventually stopped when he hit a tree. Gotta love trees. In at the number 6 spot now, we have the bus driver. In 1997, a heroin addict jumped onto a bus in San Diego with a knife and ordered everyone to get off. He then started a police chase as he drove the city bus around his local area. Now this one was really strange because some of the local people were cheering him on, others were throwing bricks at him, and one person even tried to be a sort of vigilante hero and blocked him with a car. Luckily, the police chopper in the sky was following him the whole way, but there were so many other news helicopters in the sky that the police one almost crashed. Eventually, police managed to use spikes to burst the tires of the bus and bring it to a halt. The suspect gave himself up, but almost got ran over when he was on the ground because an officer forgot to put their parking brake on. What? I mean, I've seen movies with less subplots than this story. Maybe this should be a movie. Halfway now, coming in at number 5, we have the same mistake. In 2015, this 26-year-old man had got into some sort of dispute with police officers in South LA and pointed a gun at them. At this point, his options were be arrested for that or run. What do you think he chose? He drives through a busy intersection on the wrong side of the road, or I guess right if you're from the UK, but this guy clearly doesn't care about what's right or wrong. Eventually, he gets out of the car to face the police head on.
What? Oh, he's got a gun!
He clearly hadn't learnt that doing that to police isn't really the best idea, but this time the cops had had enough and they fired back. As the man sits on a porch clutching a gunshot wound, the officers approach. There's even a cat that doesn't even know what's going on, and he's finally brought into custody. Moral of the story, guys, don't wave guns at police twice. Or even once, actually. At the number 4 spot now, we have the Orange County woman. The vast majority of criminals in these high-speed chases are men, which is why when a 47-year-old woman rammed a police car in Orange County and tried to escape, it turned quite a few heads. They chased her across 4 freeways for almost an hour, and things got pretty weird, guys. At one point, she did a U-turn and went right back between the approaching police cars.
Brazen driver damage already.
She's heading the wrong way.
Wrong direction. Oh my goodness.
And what's better than 1 U-turn? 2 U-turns, of course. She then starts going in circles to try and lose them, I think, and eventually stops to make gestures at the police and almost loses her car. But there's only so long you can drive in circles before you become pretty predictable, and eventually the police manage to box her in. Next up at number 3, we have the underage driver. Now, when I say the driver is underage, how old are you guys thinking? 15? 14? Well, they weren't even a teenager. This girl was 12 years old when she stole her grandma's car and led police on a 35-mile-long chase where she reached speeds of 126 miles per hour. Now, the speed limit on this road was about 70 miles an hour. The cops simply couldn't believe it. They have special training to drive at high speeds like this, yet this 12-year-old girl only scraped 2 cars the entire time. And you guys might be wondering, why is a 12-year-old doing 126 miles per hour away from the police? Well, she was apparently in a hurry to see her 18-year-old boyfriend. Yeah, but you didn't think the ending would get that weird, right? Coming in at the number 2 spot, we have Fiery Wood Truck. I'm not very good at naming things. But you'll see why. This took place in Dallas, Texas, where a man stole a truck from the parking lot of a fast food restaurant. The truck was full of lumber, and the police chase that started looked like something straight out of a movie. He even gives one of his friends a high five. The cops managed to shoot out one of the tires, which left an exposed metal rim, and pretty soon sparks started flying. Sparks? Huge load of wood. Sparks? Huge load of wood. What do you guys think happened next?
And now there's flames. The truck is on fire.
Incredibly, the driver still didn't stop despite being on fire. One of his tires catches fire and rolls away, and he bashes into a school bus, injuring a kid. The whole thing was just mental. In the end, the only thing that stopped this 90-minute chase is when he gets shot. That's what it took. He was sentenced to 99 years in prison. High five. And finally at number 1, we have the bulldozer. This one is honestly one of the craziest things that I've ever seen. In 2004, Marvin Heemeyer from Colorado was mad at some local businesses over a zoning dispute with his business. Now, most people in his situation would maybe want to see a rival business crash to the ground, but that is literally what he wanted. He meant that. He got hold of a bulldozer which he had modified in a warehouse with steel armor for protection because he was a trained welder, and it was like concrete in the middle. Does that sound crazy? Well, it looked crazy too.
like the bulldozer went crazy.
That thing was covered in 2 sheets of steel plating with concrete. Like, what? Marvin smashed into buildings and vehicles as the police pursued him, but there was simply nothing they could do against what is essentially just a massive tank. He destroyed 13 buildings in total, and the damage came to a whopping $7 million. At one point, someone tried to block him with their own tractor like it was some sort of giant robot battle, but he just smashes it straight off the road. Crazy. In the end, the engine luckily overheated because of all that steel and concrete on it, and the bulldozer finally came to a halt. Before police could cut their way inside, Marvin had killed himself with his gun.
Starting off in our number 10 spot, we have the lightning strike. I remember when I was a kid counting the time between the thunder and lightning, trying to see how far away this strike was, and despite the fact that it was able to light up the entire sky, it always thankfully seemed so far away. That is certainly not the case for this dashcam video though, as it catches a lightning strike touching down just nearby to the car that caught it. While everyone was clearly okay in this video, it definitely was a strike that would be a little too close for comfort, I think, for anybody. In our number 9 spot today, we have the fallen lines. This dashcam video comes from a day where it was clearly very stormy weather. It's raining, you can tell there's a lot of wind, and the visibility is quite low. It is said that after a huge gust of wind, this completely unexpected thing happened, and thankfully it was all caught on camera for us to see. If he had just been a little bit more ahead of where he was, those lines could have fallen right on top of him. How absolutely terrifying of an experience that would be. Thankfully he was alright and got out of this scary situation uninjured. In our number 8 spot today, we have the late night road stop. This video comes from someone's dash cam as they are driving along the highway. They get to a stop that is blocked off with pylons, so they have to stop, but there are no police cars or any construction workers. There's just one car by itself stopped beside the pylons. Once he comes to a stop, the person from the mysterious car begins approaching his vehicle. You can see their legs, but it's dark, so their face is still hidden in the video. The guy driving the car tries to figure out what's going on, but obviously senses that this is some sort of a bad situation.
What's going on? Can I help you with something?
Yes.
He obviously quickly speeds off because who knows what is about to happen. It's unclear whether this stranger had intentions to rob him or maybe even something worse, so I am very glad that he got out of there instead of sticking around to find out. In our number 7 spot today, we have the tornado. Tornadoes are such a weird thing, and this dash cam catches a huge one as it touches down and rips across a highway. This video was posted on YouTube by James Hammett, and the description explains how this tornado formed about 8 miles north of Laramie, Wyoming on June 6th, 2018. It also shares that this tornado was rated an EF3, which is severe and strong, with winds from 218 to 266 kilometers per hour according to the scale. The video starts off with him realizing that the tornado is about to touch down.
There it is. There it is.
So while this of course looks absolutely incredible, and I, like I'm sure many of you are, was in complete awe of watching this huge thing form, but then I became horrified because that's a gigantic tornado and I wouldn't want to be anywhere near that thing. The video continues on to later show the tornado as it rips across the highway. In our number 6 spot today, we have the swarm. Okay, I hate bugs, all of them. I know that many of them are important, but there are some that just cause more problems than anything. And you know what one of the worst is? Locusts. That is exactly why this dash cam is an absolute absolute nightmare. This is a video that comes to us from Russia, and at first I thought it was capturing some kind of crazy storm, but as it turns out, this storm is actually a swarm of locusts. There are easily millions of locusts flying around, pelting into the front of this truck, and even the truck had to slow down because you can barely see what's in front of you. In our number 5 spot today, we have the car chase glitch. This video was caught on a police dash cam, and it shows something pretty unexplainable. The police officer is on a car chase with a perpetrator. The criminal is doing his best to evade the police and continually fakes pulling over to then quickly turn around. He's going pretty crazy, swerving all over the road, which is both confusing and strange, but this is when things get really weird. He takes a turn towards a fence, and this is when something I can't quite understand happens.
The fence at the end means no way out, or does it?
It would appear as though this man somehow drove through a fence that was left with no holes and then just basically disappeared into the night. I honestly can't figure out what happened here, but this guy must have been extremely lucky or something more sinister is going on. In our number 4 spot today, we have ice. Okay, this is just a reminder, when it is winter and snowing, you gotta clear the snow and ice off of your car. We're not just talking about the stuff on your windows so that you can see, although that is very important too, but you know, the snow on your roof could be more than just snow, and it might just become someone else's nightmare. This dashcam video shows someone driving on the highway as a huge chunk of ice flies off of the roof of the car in front of them. This ice of course finds its perfect landing spot right on the front window of the car with the camera, and it basically just shatters it instantly.
As Turkish police believe the suspects are supporters of ISIS who were planning attacks on New Year's Eve. Police and prosecutors, the 2 suspects were arrested in the Turkish.
Of course, there are so many scenarios where this could have been so much worse, and thankfully the driver was okay and able to pull over safely. But again, it just shows us all the potential dangers of cutting corners when it comes to making sure our cars are clear of snow and debris in those bitter winter months. In our number 3 spot today, we have a landslide. Mother Nature is truly one of the most powerful things on this planet, and while we can do our best to predict some disasters, some seem to just come out of nowhere. This video comes from 2013, and it shows a very near miss during a landslide. The video was taken in Taiwan and comes from the dash of a car that is following behind another one. There's clearly heavy rain as they round a corner, but just as they straighten back out, the car in front of the one with the camera gets pushed into the other lane by a landslide that occurs seemingly out of nowhere. It seems kind of crazy that this dirt came flying over the edge out of nowhere, but when the dust settles a bit, you can see the reason why, which clearly becomes the biggest threat. Yeah, imagine a huge boulder just barely missing you like that. While having all of that stuff come flying at you before was probably a terrifying experience, had that huge boulder been just a foot or 2 over, things could have been so much worse. In our number 2 spot today, we have the California fire. Fire is terrifying. There's really no other way to explain it, and that is exactly what makes this dashcam video so harrowing. This video comes from August 18th, 2020, and it shows the view as someone drives through and tries to escape the Hennessy fire that was seen in Napa County, California. It honestly looks like a scene from a movie, and that isn't meant to downplay it, it's just so unbelievable and absolutely terrifying. It is said that the fire was started after a series of unusual thunderstorms rolled through the area as a tropical storm had been diminishing. These storms brought a reported 10,849 lightning strikes, which in turn sparked about 376 known fires across the state. In our number 1 spot today, we have the bushfire. This is a video that comes to us from the Dunmore Rural Fire Brigade and is from January 2020 during a bushfire. The video caught on the dash cam shows the fire crew responding to try and help protect some of the residents' properties, and things seem like fairly low-key and sort of routine at the beginning. But things quickly take quite the turn, and that is all because of a very sudden change in the 100km/h winds. This video does an amazing job at showing us just how quickly these sort of things can change, and man is it frightening. You can totally see the atmosphere change and darken as they all pack up and move to get out of there as quickly as possible before the fire gets absolutely out of control. Just as they drive off into the distance, the fire begins to rage uncontrollably, and by the 2-minute mark of this 3.5-minute video, the area is unrecognizable.
We are going to start this list off with that's expensive. Maybe when it's pouring rain you should leave your Lambo at home and take something that has better all-wheel drive. I assume this guy has enough money to replace this, but who knows, this guy might have just leased this car to flex on all his friends, and now he's going to be paying it off for the next 20 years. Let's check this out. Oof, that sucks so hard. I'm not that great at spotting poor driving, but I would have guessed this guy was speeding. The way his car flew into frame like that, and the front is toast. It's probably going to cost him more money to fix that thing than get it replaced. I think that's why I have no interest in buying expensive cars, because I'm a bad driver. I don't want to lose something that costs as much as a house, just because the roads are slippery. At number 9 we have kaboom! Please, if you're driving with a bunch of dangerous chemicals in the back of your truck, drive carefully. You are transporting something very delicate that could kill a lot of people. This guy was speeding with a cab full of propane tanks, and then this happened. And that's just the start of it. There's all these different angles that show the aftermath. After this guy crashed, this goes on for a while. The containers keep burning, and then they explode one by one every couple minutes. I mean, it looks very cool, but this is something you want to stay very, very far away from, and I pray that the driver got out in time and is safe. At number 8 we have Kaboom 2, the kaboomening. So something that we can all agree on is that dash cams are great for capturing explosions on camera. We just saw that. And if you didn't believe me, here's another video to solidify my point. Holy cow, you get a perfect view of this explosion. You see the whole building fly up into the air and all the rubble rain down like it's Die Hard. It looks like the building got hit with enough dynamite to make an entire season of Looney Tunes. If you are at all scared for the people involved, you should be. This is a giant ball of fire and it's very, very scary, but just so you know, no one was hurt. There was signs that the explosion was going to happen before, and rescue workers got in and were able to come in and save everyone before the big event happened. If you want to look a little further into this, Google the Sun Prairie explosion. I don't have time to give you every single detail, but this footage from the dashcam was definitely enough. At number 7 we have Oh Lord, he a coming. This guy's coming through and nobody's gonna stop him. This truck is barreling through like a fullback running over a punter. I feel sorry for whoever owns that store and now has a truck-shaped dent through the front of it. That's not just gonna buff out. I've watched this clip again and again and again, and I can't figure out why this dude flew over the medium like this. There isn't a car in his way, the back didn't start falling off of the cab. It just looks like he lost control, or maybe he was like, shortcut, and just cut over it. That would be the scariest thing ever for the driver of the truck. Out of nowhere, this big beast is now swerving into oncoming traffic, and right after you crash, you would think two things, like, is everyone okay? And I'm fired. At number 6, we have pulled over. If you are a police officer, you always have to be on your toes. It's not like TV shows where 80% of your time is spent focusing on relationships and maybe you actually do a call every 4 days. Being a real life cop is life or death. Everything is trying to kill you, and this is a perfect example. The police officer looks a little heavy set, but when action calls, he's as limber as Spider-Man after yoga class. He did a little stop, drop, and roll at the end to make sure the truck didn't crush him. It's crazy. That truck driver's probably so happy. He might have had a ton of illegal goods in the back of his truck, but now that SUV guy is the only one who's going to be going to jail. At number 5, we have literally my worst fear. This is like personally. Every time I drive over a bridge, or when you're driving down a road and you can see like you're on the side of a mountain or something, you see that endless fall all the way down the side, part of me thinks of what would happen if you go over the railing. And please God, I hope this never happens to me. And here's a video of one of my worst fears come to life. God, just watching this clip makes my stomach drop right out of me. I get this feeling like when you drop in a roller coaster. I think in that moment of going over the side I would just scream like a little girl. And then you have to tumble down the side of the mountain, and if you're not dead you have to wait for someone to save you because all your bones are broken, and the entire time you would be praying you don't get eaten by wolves. And number 4, we have wildfires. In recent years the wildfires in California have been devastating. It's horrible to think what it must be like to lose everything, your home, your belongings, and possibly your loved ones. These uncontrollable blazes have been sweeping through the entire area. This dashcam footage is exactly what it looks like.
I dispatched someone from the fire department and tried to assess. I asked him, he said he is unaware of which way the fire is going. They have so many fires, they can't really keep track at this point, and they also cannot.
It actually looks like the end of the world. Everything is engulfed in flames, and you can see the spattering of embers smack against the windshield as the car drives through. I got to give a shout out to all the brave officers who are driving into this inferno. I'm assuming they're going in there to save someone. The heat alone would be so powerful it would probably make you want to pass out. At number 3 we have hot shower. As much as we think we are the most powerful thing on the planet, every now and again we get reminded that there are forces out there that could wipe us out faster than Amazon's same-day delivery. This dashcam footage taken from a car in China shows you a shower of hot sparks. Good thing everyone was in their car. It would have been like when you're in the shower and someone flushes the toilet and you're like, ugh, it gets super hot. You're being cooked alive like some sort of crustacean. What happened here is a bolt of lightning came raining down and smashed into the ground, sending sparks everywhere. Like I said moments ago, these things remind us that we aren't as big and bad as we thought. At number 2 we have tsunami. The tsunami that moved through Japan and caused the second worst nuclear disaster in human history was devastating. Most of the videos that you've seen of this tragic event have been from helicopter footage, but today we have some dashcam footage from the exact moment the tsunami moved through.
今度は後ろからも津波が押し寄せる。
This entire clip goes on for a few minutes. At the beginning of the video, you can actually see the world shaking, like the trees vibrating, the street signs vibrating, and then the shock wave from the earthquake moving through. Then later, so much water comes through that all the cars are floating. Could you imagine being stuck in that? It would be terrifying. I would be like, oh god, the world is over, we're all gonna die. Time to become a cannibal, I guess. I don't know what you do. And for our number 1 spot we have Kaboom 3, Return of the Kaboom. If you've ever worked in a factory, then sometimes you'll pass by a bunch of containers stacked on top of each other that say dangerous, flammable, and you might think, what would happen if one of these containers caught on fire? Well, let me show you. This is the dashcam footage of the famous Tianjin explosion. This happened in Tianjin, China, when a container full of nitrocellulose caught flames and caused a chain reaction which ignited all the chemicals in the factory. The explosion was massive, destroying most of the properties in the area, and you can see the massive shockwave that blasts through the area, shattering windows and blowing out eardrums. Later in the video, you can see fireballs raining down from the sky like it's the end of the world. It's pretty insane.
In at number 10, we have man falling into river. A deputy in Tennessee captured footage of a drunk man falling headfirst off a small bridge into a river. Try not to laugh, I dare you. The passenger then gets out of the car but appears intoxicated, stumbling everywhere. As the officer rolls up, he suspects that both men have been drinking. As the bridge faller manages somehow to scramble onto dry land, the footage ends. The video description says that both of the men were arrested and the faller was not seriously injured. What they were doing driving in the first place and how the guy managed to dramatically fall at the wrong time and be caught on camera, we don't know. In at number 9, we have naked man in the woods. Footage uploaded to YouTube channel Police Academy shows body cam footage from an officer who answers a call for a disturbance in a wooded area. When he gets into the forest a bit, we see a naked man who is acting like he's quite disturbed. Obviously we cannot show you the full extent of the nudity, but you can kind of see it. We hear the man shout out, "You are a cop!" To which the police officer replies,
I am a cop.
The naked man then shouts,
Take off your clothes! No, I'm not taking off my clothes.
which is kind of a weird thing to shout at a police officer. The guy then acts like an aggravated animal and has to be taken down by the police. What is going on? We don't know. In at number 8, we have the burning truck. Why this truck is on fire, we do not know. Nor do we know how it manages to roll back while still aflame, even though it is on a seemingly flat road. Sparta police responded to reports of a truck on fire along Route 50 in New Jersey, closing lanes of traffic and parking their cars at a safe distance. Or so they thought. What crazy footage to capture on camera. Like, I have no idea why that one officer rushes to get in his car as the truck rolls towards it. I get that he wants to move it out of the way, but it was a bit late for that as the flaming truck was literally coming straight for it. Luckily, the sergeant involved was not too severely injured. Some light comedy up next at number 7, we have a Taylor Swift fan. Dover police released this dashcam footage of one of their police officers driving and lip syncing to Taylor Swift's Shake It Off. New level of sass, and I love it. Although explanation wise, I'm drawing a blank space. I guess Honey is just a bit of a Swiftie. Me too, I feel ya. The video is absolute gold, so it's easy to see why it has had over 40 million views. In at number 6, we have a guy on a car bonnet. I have literally no idea what is happening here. A car pulls up to another car and on the bonnet we see a man, just kind of casually laying there on his belly on a moving car. Just totally casual. As the car drives off, the guy stays on the bonnet. He even gives the dashcam of the other car a cheeky little smile and wave. In at number 5, we have a deer attack. Michigan Howe police officer Austin was driving on Oak Glen Road on an autumn night in September 2016 when he saw a deer cross the road in front of him and headbutt a car that had pulled over on the side of the road. The footage is actually crazy. The deer just goes straight for the car, visibly attacking it. Ugh. Officer Austin said that he had never seen anything like it. From angry deers to reindeers! A little light festivity for you here, and you can choose whether you want to believe it or not. In Noble Country, Indiana, a driver of a police car caught Santa and his reindeer flying overhead on his dashcam. Obviously, if you were to catch such an image, you would quickly share it on your social media. This is exactly what they did. The LaGrange County Sheriff's Department shared the image on Facebook with the caption, "Merry Christmas to all and to all a good night." So completing our animal section of our top 10 unexplained events caught on police dashcam, we have a chupacabra sighting. It cannot be, surely not. Is it a wild dog? Is it a chupacabra? This police officer had absolutely no idea. The footage was taken in 2008 and has caused a debate ever since. This animal was seen running down a dirt path along fence lines of a rural Texas road. The short-legged hairless animal had a long snout and kind of looks like a coyote, but actually I don't really think it looks too much like a coyote. I don't know, is there an explanation? Is it a wild dog? Let me know. In at number 2, we have a meteor in Portland, Maine. Okay, so if we know it's a meteor, then we know it has an explanation, but this police dashcam footage is so vivid, it really was a case of right place, right time. It's like a miracle. The meteor was seen in large parts of New England, New Jersey, and southeast Canada in May 2016. Okay, here we are at number 1. This police dashcam footage is 100% legitimate and 100% crazy. A police officer in Kentucky caught an insane lightning strike on their dashcam in May 2016. Like seriously, oh my god. They were right there as the lightning struck. It even looks like the lightning struck the car, but I can't be too sure. Either way, sure, we can explain lightning, but we can't explain how it struck this car so perfectly and how it was all caught on camera. I guess we can just put it down to one crazy coincidence. In at number 10, we have creepy clown arms. A video posted in October 2016 on YouTube channel Police Activity, which is awesome by the way, we see a Monesha police officer respond to a call in the area of Appleton and Midway roads after a person reported people dressed as clowns chasing vehicles. We see the police approach the clowns, who in sync raise their arms really creepily. The police then arrest the pair, later reported to be 2 guys in their 20s. Why is it unexplained? Well, because clowns and freaky and synchronized arms. Like why? just why. You may have heard the news that a guy dressed as Batman is now taking down these clowns. Well, we hope it's our guy from dashcam footage number 9. That's right, it's Batman himself. In this footage posted on YouTube in 2012, we see police officers from Maryland, USA pull over a black Lamborghini with no tags on Route 29. As we watch from the perspective of the dashcam, we see that the guy who gets out of the car is indeed dressed as Batman. Yes, Batman. I guess the only explanation is like we've fallen asleep and woken up in Gotham. Okay, so some truly unexplainable stuff up next. This is the infamous Garden City ghost car at number 8. One night in 2006, Lieutenant Wayne Daniels was involved in a high-speed car chase with a driver who was behind the wheel of a stolen car. This all went down in Garden City in Georgia. In the footage, we see the car zigzag across the road and then down into a dirt trap. We watch the police pursue the car from the dashcam footage. The police are very much hot on the heels of the errant vehicle until it manages to somehow drive through a tall metal fence. Like, how? The police car is stuck on the other side of the intact fence while the car speeds off on the other side. I mean, that is crazy. Some say that the bolts had gone on the fence, allowing the metal to hang on the fence frame. I don't know, somehow allowing the car to pass through, but for me, I don't really understand that. Next up, one of my favourite pieces of dashcam footage that has ever existed. At number 7, we have a donkey on the loose. In this high drama police dashcam action uploaded to Police Activity in 2016, we have a crazy donkey on the loose in Washington County in Arkansas. The officer that we can see on the dashcam is trying to capture it. Not very successfully though, as we hilariously see the donkey run off. We then see the police car backing up in pursuit of the rogue trotter. Moments at 142 to 152 of the footage are a real highlight as we hear the police officer shouting, "Stop, donkey, stop!" Like that'll do the trick. From a definite loose donkey to a potential Bigfoot sighting, in at number 6 we have Bigfoot himself. I mean, this is a little bit sketchy as the camera footage is a bit old, dating back to 1989. That said, this unexplained sighting caught on dashcam has been talked about ever since. As police officers drive down a dark road in Lumpkin County, Georgia, we see a figure cross the road in front of the car. I mean, it literally all goes down in Georgia, doesn't it? Perhaps Georgia's having a bit of a laugh at us. Or, if we slow down this footage and really zoom in, it does kinda look like a big hairy beast. Maybe it is Bigfoot, or maybe it's just a bear. Whatever it is, it came from nowhere. Something else that came from nowhere is this tree. In at number 5, we have a tree falling on a police officer. In this dashcam footage from police in Centerville, we see what is supposed to be a standard traffic stop go horribly wrong. A police officer is talking to someone in a pulled over car when a tree randomly falls on him. A tree? Why did it just happen to fall down like right there, right then, and why directly on him? Unexplained. Luckily, the officer involved was not too badly injured. In at number 4, we have a ghostly figure. Ooh. So I don't know about this one. Footage of an apparent ghost was uploaded to YouTube by Danny Davenport in 2012 and has been watched over 500,000 times. The supposed police dashcam footage shows a cop driving down a dirt road at night when a ghost pops out like, surprise! The driver then stops and turns around to see if they have actually hit someone, but there's no one there. I don't know about this one. Do we think that this is unexplainable, or the explanation is just that it's fake? Freakier still, in at number 3 we have a ritualistic woman in the woods. In this 2015 footage, police officer Malik is driving down a nondescript road at 3 AM when they take a turning and come across a woman who has started a fire. There is no real explanation as to what the F is going on here, other than the woman is pure evil and probably wants to burn out your soul. She flicks her head up, she starts laughing, it's all really weird. Next up, another lady behaving inexplicably. At number 2, we have a naked running lady. In this dashcam video, we see Santa Fe County sheriffs respond to a complaint about a woman behaving erratically along Highway 599. Sure enough, when the police found her Toyota RAV4, she ran at them naked, screaming Jehovah. This is very weird. She is later tackled and cuffed, which actually makes me think I hope she's okay. Okay guys, so we have reached that all-important moment in our most amazing top 10 unexplained events caught on police dashcams, and this one is so weird. In at number 1, we have a mystery car in Russia. So this one was caught on a Russian police officer's dashcam and features what can only be described as a ghost car. The footage starts as the car is turning left. faked. We can see the traffic at a standstill on the right when all of a sudden a car comes from actually nowhere and smashes into another car. So let us slow that down for you and you can watch it again so you can see how crazy it is. Like, where did it come from? I absolutely can't explain it. Uploaded by Rose Adams on YouTube, this video has been watched almost 1 million times, and by the look of the comment section, a lot of people are just as baffled as me. Do you guys have an explanation? I don't think it can be faked because we can see it smashing into another car. Like, what's happening?